What up, Tube? Hey guys, I just want to give you guys a heads up. This video right here is not a normal tutorial video. This is a dual tutorial video. So in the first part, what I'm doing is I'm going to do the haircut and explain it to you guys detail by detail. And after, if you guys want to just scroll over and find the spot, I'm actually doing a tutorial on how I do a tutorial. So what I did is I double filmed this tutorial, and so the first part is me actually doing the tutorial, and then at the end is me filming the tutorial, and I explain to you guys what I go through just to film these things. So check it out, hang in there. If you guys don't want to watch the tutorial part, skip over to section 1622, and that'll get you right to this part where I show you and explain how I film my tutorials. Thanks again for watching, guys. See you guys later.
What up, YouTube? It's your boy Big Al, right back at you with another tutorial. What we're gonna do on this young gentleman is we're gonna do a razor fade comb over with a hard line. Very little on top, guys. So what I did right there is we start off quickly, and we're starting off with our balder. And as you can see, I just quickly go around the edges and just create my first guideline, guys. If I said it once, I've said it twice. Get yourself a balder, guys. Save yourself some trimmer blades. The balder, if you set it to a zero gap, it's sufficient enough to knock down all that hair. As you can see, guys, I move quickly around the edges, and I'm just basically just creating that first guideline. So what I'm doing right here, guys, is I grab my Andy's BGR3, and it's a cordless machine. Basically, it holds your Austria blades, and then what I'm using right here is I'm using my number 2 Austria blade, and you can see I'm just going up to the top of the crown, guys. That's all it is, because he's gonna get a hard line, and he doesn't want to lip on his hard line. So what I do is I just basically go up with a number 2 all the way to the top of the crown. Once I go to the top of the crown, guys, now I'm going to grab my number 1 clip, lever open, and I'm just going to basically just clean it up right there. And I'm going to go up to the bottom of the crown, or maybe not the bottom, but maybe the middle of the crown. As you can see right there, I don't go as high as I did with the number 2. I just keep it a little bit lower. So what first we did is we went with a number 2 Austria, and now we're going with number 1.5. It's a number 1 clip with a lever open, which makes it a number 1. As I go across, I lower the lever lower the lever, so now it's a number 1. Now I take off my clip, and I'm going across, lever open, which is a half. As you can see, I go across, I lower my lever a quarter of the way, and I go across one more time. Then I lower my lever a quarter of the way more, and I go up halfway. Now I'm just dotting the bottom line. As I go across, I scrape, and I can see it blending right up, guys. Now I'm going to grab my trimmer, my Skeletorized GTX trimmer, and I'm just scraping the bottom line, getting up that bottom line. Very simple. Now I'm going to grab my half clip lever open, and I'm just going to go across, and I'm basically just working on that center shadow, as you guys can see. As I go across, I lower the lever a quarter of the way, and I'm basically just dotting, scraping that center shadow. And right here, guys, it's just, you know, you'll get comfortable as you start fading, and you'll work your lever to according to the position that you need it. It's going to be an automatic. It just takes time. So right here, I start quickly again. Now I'm using my number 4 clip. And if you're wondering why I'm not using my number 2, is reason being is in the back of the head there's going to be a little section where the hair is going to flop over, so you don't want to go too high with the number 2 right off the bat. So what I do is I usually start off with my number 4 and get it down, and now I'm going to go with my number 1.5. So what I did is I went with my number 4 first, and now I'm going with my number 1.5. It's my number 1 clip with the lever open. Now I close my lever, and I'm going across, and I'm going a little bit lower than I did when I did with my number 1. So Sorry about the quality of my video right here. You know, sometimes my camera unfocuses and it gets a little blurry. Okay, since we went with our number 4 to start off with, and then we went with the 1.5, so now we gotta blend that out. And what I'm using to blend that out is I'm just doing clipper over comb. There's many ways to blend this out, guys. You guys can use steps and use clips, but I find it easier and faster just to clipper over comb it. Now I'm going again, no clip, lever open, which is a half, and I'm going up about an inch. As I go across, I lower my lever a quarter of the way, and I go up not as high. Then I lower my lever another quarter of the way, and I'm only going halfway up. As I go across, you can see I'm kind of just raking the bottom line, the bottom shadow line. Now I'm going to grab my GTX again, and I'm just going to scrape that bottom shadow. This is the final touch right here. This is what makes that bottom line come up, guys. If you're having trouble with that bottom line, you need to start using your trimmer for that part. Right here, I grab my machine again, and I open the lever 3/4 of the way, and I'm just staying below my half line. Now I'm going to grab my half clip again, lever open, and again, we're just focusing on the center shadow. As I go across, you can see I lower my lever a quarter of the way and just blending and working on that center shadow. Once you're done with the center shadow right here, it all blends right in, guys. This simple technique that I didn't develop this skill. This is the way I was taught how to fade, and this is the way I'm teaching you guys. Of course, I didn't develop it, but this is the way that I learned how to fade. Again, here now we start off with our number 4 clip, and we're gonna be going across the 4. Going across that, and the reason being, again, we're using the number 4 is because we want to leave the hair a little thicker around the crown. So we start off with our number 4. Now we went with our number 1, lever open, and again, we're just gonna go to maybe the center of the crown, bottom to the center of the crown. Once you go across there, now you're gonna go back to your clipper over comb. We're blending the number 1.5 to the number 4, which is what the clip we started originally with. And all I do, guys, I mean, like I said before, there's many ways you can blend this out. You can blend this out with steps, you can blend it out with clips, but I find it easier and faster to do it clipper over comb. Again, here now I grab my number 1, lever open, and I'm just blending in where I blended out with a clipper over comb. Now I take off my clip, lever open, I'm gonna go across 1 inch. Lower my lever a quarter of the way. Now I go almost not as high. Now I lever one more quarter, and I go all the way across towards the middle. Now I close the lever, and I'm just hitting the bottom of the line. Now I'm gonna grab my half clip, lever open, and I'm just gonna work on that center shadow. Remember, guys, when I fade in 3 sections. I fade the right side of the head, the back side of the head, and then the left side of the head. And when I'm done, I'm done. You know, I go back and I touch it up a little bit, but I mean, your fade's pretty much done at this point. I'm gonna go back right now, and I'm gonna start on the shave. And once I do the shave, I cut the top, put in the hard line, and then I do one last little inspection, make sure that the fade's working properly. Again, guys, remember, fading is a skill that's developed over time. You know, it's not something that's gonna happen right away. You have to develop your own system. Right here, I'm using my Bronze Series 9, guys, and I'm just going up to my shave line. Shave line is the one I created when I went up with my trimmer. Remember, you don't want to go too high. You don't want to create another shadow. As you can see, there's already a little shadow right there, right below where I faded. And that's where I'm going to go up with my Bronze Series 9. Right here, I'm just cleaning up the long hairs with my GTX. I clean them up before I go in with the shaver. That way, when I go in with the shaver, it's just smoother and easier to get in there. As you can see the shadow, I call it a shadow shave. That's the shadow where I'm going to shave up to. That's the reason why I call it a shadow shave. You see right there, that little shadow? That's exactly right there where I'm just going to shave up to, and that's where I'm going to stop. I don't want to go any higher than that. Going any higher than that, then you're shaving into where you faded, and you don't want to do that. You want to shave below your fade, not up and over your fade. And guys, if you guys haven't got hip to this new Bronze Series 9 shaver, I really suggest that you guys get this machine. This machine is incredible. I've been in the game already for 15 years, and I've only had it for 3 months, and I've wondered why I haven't been using it before that. It's an exceptional machine. Super quiet, and it gets down to the skin. And the best part about it is so quiet that it can be used on little kids. So the sides are pretty much done now, guys. What we're gonna work on now is we're gonna work on the top. So what I'm doing is applying a generous amount of water, and you can see he has real curly hair on top, and this guy he actually likes his curls a little bit. So we're not gonna take too much off, you know. If he wanted his curls off, then I would get it nice and tight on top, but he doesn't. He likes his curls. He doesn't really wear too much gel on it. He kind of wears it loose and big on top. So I'm just basically just gonna take out the split ends. But as I go back, you can see I take out a little bit more than I do towards the front. When you're cutting a comb over, always remember that the front has to be longer than the back. So as you go back, I like to grab a little bit more. But like I said, we're just basically taking out the split ends on this young gentleman. We're not taking too much off. It's going to be a quick cut. And as always, when I cut, I always cut from front to back. And as I cut from front to back, what I do is I turn to the side and I checker it. I go the other way around. And that way I could tell where I missed when I went from front to back. As you guys see, guys, when I use the scissors, it's kind of an automatic thing with me. My hands all move in sync, and that's something that's gonna come with time, guys. It's not something that, you know, that I just all of a sudden I was good with the scissors. At first I wasn't very good with the scissors. It's a hard skill. It's, you know, it's like having two swords in your hand and you gotta cut that hair perfectly right. Just stick with it. It's a skill that comes with time, and it's repetitious. So now that we cut the top, now what I'm doing right here is I'm just going back, and what I like to do is I like to call my final detail, and I'm just gonna go back and just clean it all up. And when I was looking at it from the sides, and you know, when you're doing your final detail, you want to look into your mirror and look at your fade and make sure that there's no shadows, because that's when you go back and detail it, you know. So what I did right there is I started off with my 1.5, my half clip actually, and I was just cleaning up the center shadow. Now I'm moving more toward the top of the crown and just cleaning it all up. You can't really tell in this position right here, but if you were watching me do this haircut right here, you would be watching me look into the mirror, because I'm always constantly looking in the mirror and making sure that I don't see no shadows. Because when you're looking, if you're always staring at a fade, eventually you're gonna see what your eyes want to see. The best way to resolve that is to look into the mirror behind you. Look in your mirror and then look at your haircut. The mirror never lies, guys. The mirror never lies. Make sure you stay tuned after this haircut, guys, because after this haircut, I am gonna put up another video showing myself filming this video. And the reason why I'm doing that is I kind of want to show you guys what I go through when I film one of these videos. It's not easy. It takes some time, and you know, a lot of times most of my tutorials I film after work or early in the morning, because there's not too many people in my shop. And as you guys know, my shop's extremely busy, so it's always hard to find the right time to shoot a tutorial. But this young gentleman came in late, so I caught him at the right time. You guys can tell right there, the fade's looking pretty tight. We got it all shaved up. We got it all cleaned up. So now what I do is I apply some, what I am applying to him is I'm applying some Gentleman Republic gel. It's great smelling gel that doesn't flake up. Works really, really well. If you guys aren't hip to this kind of gel, look it up. It's extremely good. Smells good. Great my shop, and it's a great seller. So right here we're pretty much done, guys. The haircut's done. What I'm gonna do right now is just kind of comb it over, and I'm gonna work on the hard line. And one thing I always like to do when I do a hard line is I always like to either put gel or pomade, and this is the very last thing, guys. I mean, I've seen other barbers do their hard line first and then do their haircut, but to me, the right way to do it is to do the hard line last. That's the very, very last thing I do when I do a haircut. I do the hard line last because now the top is cut, I can part it, I can see exactly where my hard line is gonna go. There's been several times where I've done the hard line before I actually comb the hair and part it, and one time I came out with a double line. It's horrible. You can't do that. So the best way to do it is comb your hair. This hard line is the very last thing to do. Right here, you're just gonna see I'm gonna kind of comb it over, and I'm gonna go back and do one last little clipper over comb to make sure that anything that's sticking out is taken care of. That's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. Thanks again for watching. If you guys have any comments, any questions, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. I answer everybody. Hey guys, stick around for after this this part of the tutorial. I'm gonna start the other part of the tutorial, which is me explaining how I film these videos, and just so you guys get the sense of what it goes through when I film these videos, and how I move the camera back and forth. Remember, the camera that I use is a Canon T6i. It has a flip out screen. You need that if you're going to be doing tutorials or videos. But thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. What up, guys? Thanks for joining me in this part of the tutorial. This part of the tutorial is not going to be about me cutting the hair, but more of how I film these videos, guys. So the camera that I use is a T6i, and what I use is a mono stand, which is only one-legged stand, as you can see. Because if you have a tripod is really difficult to position and move the chair around. So I find it easier using a monopod. In case you guys are wondering, I got it on Amazon. It works really good. The camera that I use again is a Canon T6i, and the reason why I use the I is because it has a flip-out screen. It doesn't have to be a T6i. It could be a T6.5, T6.7. There's different ones now, depending on the price you want to get. But you can see, guys, when I do these videos, it's very difficult because I'm actually doing them at work, during work. And this one actually I shot after work, so we were already closed down, so I was able to take my time and move it around. That's why I was able to double film it, and but as you can see, it's hard because you got to position your camera the right way. You got to be looking at it, and as you guys can see, I'm not reaching over and starting the camera each shot. It saves a lot of time. What I do is I have a small remote that goes with my camera. So what I do is I position the camera, the shot that I want, and I look into the little screen, make sure that it's looking good, and then I click my remote, and I start filming. You see that right there? So I do that part of this. What I do is like I explained to you guys, I cut hair in 3 sections. I do one side, back side, and then the next side. So the same way when I film it. Right there, I'm gonna position my camera. My battery ran out in the middle of the shoot, so you always gotta have extra batteries, guys. Don't try to do this all with one battery because it's never gonna work. You gotta have several SD cards because I ran out in the middle of a haircut. I ran out of card space, so then you gotta put in another card. So right there, I'm working on the back side. You see, you guys, I position my camera in the right direction, and I use my little remote. Click it on. The hardest part I find is sometimes what I do with my remote. I try to set it down on the table, or I try to keep it in my pocket, but once I'm done cutting the hair, then I gotta look for the remote to turn off the camera. So that's sometimes one of the little things that I've learned to adapt to. Now my videos have adapted since I've been doing them. As you guys can see, if you go back to my first video, my first couple tutorials, my girl actually filmed for me, but I found it very difficult to have her filming them for me because it's just time consuming and it's not easy standing there holding the camera steady. So once I found a monopod, which is the stand, it was a lot easier, and it made it more easier for me to film it on my own. Because actually having somebody film it for you, it's a lot harder. Because then the video doesn't come out as nice because it's too shaky. So you see, I did the right side to the back side. Now I'm doing this side over here. And all times the camera is running, guys. Always positioning in the right position. See, now I put them facing, position my camera. I try to keep the camera from not shaking too much, but you can see it only has one leg, so if you move it just a little bit, it kind of wiggles a little bit. It's pretty stable, but I mean, trust me, guys, this is not easy doing this. And this is just the first part of it. I'm not even showing you guys the hard part is the editing, you know. And once you make this video, then you gotta go home, take all the pieces, put it together. You gotta find music for it. Then you gotta do the voiceover. The voiceover is another thing altogether. I'm not trying to discourage you guys. I'm just kind of gonna give you guys a little heads up of what it takes to make these videos and the process that I go through it. I always also find it that it's easier to do videos on youngsters than it is to do on older folks, because the youngsters are down to go on YouTube. The older folks, you know, they don't understand the YouTube thing, so they really don't want to. Some guys don't even want to be on camera at all. So that's another thing I'm having trouble with. Being a YouTuber now at my shop is trying to implement the videos and not trying to offend anybody or make sure I keep my distance when it's not the right time to do videos. But that's pretty much it, guys. This is what I go through to make a video. I just wanted to show you guys, run it through real quick, and just explain it to you and show you what it is to be a YouTube barber. And it's not easy. It's very difficult. But hey, guys, thanks again for watching. If you guys have any questions, if you guys want to know any about this section of the videos, let me know. I'll help out. This is what I'm here for, guys. Keep creating, guys. Keep creating. Keep on grinding. Catch you guys on the next video. Lates.